Hi everyone, my name is Amy. Today I'm going to share with you about how the cancer drug list will affect your hospitalization coverage. So do take some time to look at this disclaimer. Okay, so now what is the main thing about the cancer drug list that you actually need to take note of? So basically, if you were to Google cancer drug list, you will see under the MOH website, there's this list. You can scroll down the whole list of the cancer drug list over at the website. So over here, I'll just go through how to read the drug list. So as you can see over here, you will see the name of the drug, which is the active ingredient, okay, which is the name of the drug, right? And based on each drug, there will be a clinical indication. That means the kind of condition that resulted to need this medication. And of course, you will see over here the Medishield life limit per month. So that is how you read this cancer drug list. So this cancer drug list will be updated every 4 months. Okay, so so anything in the future, if let's say there's a need to go through any cancer treatment, you need to make sure that the doctor runs through the medication with the list. Okay, so how to actually read this is that if there is more than one cancer drug from the list that is being used in a month, the patient may claim up to the amounts not exceeding the highest Medishield Life and Medisave claim limits applicable for the individual drugs. So for example, if a patient used both drug A and B, right? Drug A being the Medishield Life limit to be 2,000 and the Medisave withdrawal limit to be 600, and B being the Medishield Life limit to be 1,000 and Medisave withdrawal limit of 600 in a month, the patient may claim no more than $2,000 from the Medishield Life and $600 from the Medisave in that month. So at the current moment, 90% of the cancer drugs are already on a cancer drug list. However, there's still a 10% that is not under the cancer drug list. Why are there changes to the cancer treatment financing? So actually before 1st of September 2022, Medishield Life pays up to $3,000 per month for all cancer drugs, and integrated shield plans often cover costs above that on an as-charged basis, meaning there's no limit with a small co-payment. Such a design meant that the drug companies had no incentive to lower drugs for drug cancer that cost less. As a result, MOH and the medical industry have to end up paying higher prices for many cancer drugs compared to other countries such as Australia, South Korea, and United Kingdom. So the changes to the cancer treatment financing allows MOH to negotiate lower prices for cancer drugs and ensure that the cancer treatment costs and insurance premium remain affordable for Singapore residents in the long run. So then what is the criteria for the inclusion of the cancer drug list? So first of all, it has to be cost effective. And the definition for being cost effective is that cancer drug list, it has to provide good value in treating the particular cancer compared to existing standard of care in terms of health benefits and costs. And of course, it has to be registered with the Health Sciences Authority and meet the required standards of safety, quality, and efficiency. So now then, how are the private integrated shield plans being affected? So before the changes, the benefit will be the outpatient chemotherapy and immunotherapy benefit that is as charged, meaning there's no limit. However, after the 1st of April 2023, upon renewal of the insurance policy, it will be replaced into two benefits, namely the outpatient cancer drug treatment benefit, which is in short form, I will address it as CDL, and the outpatient cancer drug services benefits. So what are the outpatient cancer drug services benefits? So services includes things like consultation, scans, lab investigation, chemotherapy preparation, admin fees, supportive care drugs, and blood transfusion, etc. So after the changes, right, it will be according to X number of times the Medishield life claim limits depending on the insurance companies. So then what are the summary of the changes overview? So for example, for Medishield Life, right, over here, as you can see, in the there is a $3,000 of limit per month. And after the revision, right, it will be $200 to $9,600 per month, depending on the drug that's being used. Okay, so if the drug is not under the CDL, not under the cancer drug list, it will not be covered. Therefore, you see NA. Okay, so for the services, it will be limit of $1,200 per year. Okay, so under the Medisave, the limit for the drugs and services will be of $1,200 per month, or additional limit of $600 per year for cancer scans, including the post-treatment scans. Okay, so after the revision, the limit of $600 or $1,200 per month, depending on the Medishield life claim limit for the drug indication. Okay, same thing. If it's not under the cancer drug list, it will be not claimable. Okay, so for services, the limit is $600 per year, including the post-treatment scans. Okay, so that is since 1st September 2022, the changes has already kicked in as such. So upon the renewal of the insurance policies from 1st April 2023 onwards, okay, upon policy purchase or renewal of the policy, so what happened is the benefits will varies across insurance plans that previously used to provide as charge coverage with no limit, okay, I mean up to the plan limits, right? So over here, you can see there's no longer that it will actually be X number of times the multiple of the Medishield life limits. Okay, so it all depends across each insurance companies. So due to compliance issue, I will just name some companies by using the letter. So for example, for company H, right, under the basic plan and the rider, so means this person have both the basic plan and the rider. So what happened is that for the outpatient cancer drug treatment, the limit will be 5 times of the Medishield life limit that you see on the MOH cancer drug list. Okay, so for the rider, there'll be additional 5 times of the Medishield life limit. So for cancer drug services limit, it will be 5 times, and even if there's a rider, it will not applicable. Okay, it will only be 5 times of the Medishield life limit. Okay, so for cancer drug limit, for non-CDL limit, means that if the drug is not under the cancer drug list, if there's only a basic plan, it will not be covered. But if you have got a rider, then it will be at a $3,000 limit per month. So if there's a rider in place, if there's under the CDL, and if it's under the panel or extended panel specialist, there will be a 5% of the co-payment, and it will cap at $3,000 per year if the treatment is being conducted by a panel or extended panel specialist. However, if there's a non-CDL, there will be no co-payment limit. Okay, so this is an example of a claim illustration of company H. So assuming that, say, this drug is being used to treat lung cancer, okay? So what happened is that according to the cancer drug list, you can see, I mean, if you go to the MOH website, you will see there's a Medishield life limit, right? So assuming over here the limit states $2,000 per month. So if you have a basic shield, it will be 5 times of the limit of the MediShield Life limit. So it will be 10,000 per month. All right. If you have the rider, there will be an additional 5 times of the MediShield Life limit. There will be a total of another $10,000 per month, which means the total claim limit will then be $20,000 per month. Okay, so if you have got the outpatient cancer drug services limit per year, right, it will be at $1,200 per year. So if 5 times of the MediShield Life limit, it will be $6,000 per year. Okay, so whether or not there's a rider, it doesn't matter. So it will be the total of $6,000 per year for the total claim limit for cancer drug services. Okay, so since we are talking about a cancer drug list, so of course for non-CDL, it will not be applicable in this scenario. Next, I will be showing another claim illustration for company H, assuming a non-CDL treatment is being used. Do note that although the drug is not under the non-CDL list, right? There's a requirement that the additional cancer drug treatment, the non-CDL benefit, only covers treatments under drug classes A to E according to the LIA non-CDL classification framework. Okay, so in this illustration, let's say this particular drug is under class A of the non-CDL classification framework that is being used, right, to treat the lung cancer. So of course, since it's under the non-CDL, it will be not applicable for the CDL benefit. Okay, so services benefit wise, it will be standard at $1,200 per year. Okay, so for the shield limit, with the shield limit, it will be 5 times of it, so it will be $6,000 per year. Okay, so if you have the rider, then for this company, it will be at a total of $30,000 per month for the rider limit and also for the total claim limit. Okay, for the non-CDL patient for the non-CDL limit. So next, I'll touch on company S. So assuming if company S is being assuming if you have company S plan, so the basic plan and the rider will only give you 5 times of the MediShield Life limit benefit. Okay, so what it means is that even if you have the rider or you don't have the rider, it will just be 5 times of the MediShield Life limit. Okay, so for the cancer drug services standard, right, it will be 5 times of the MediShield Life limit. Whether or not you have the rider, it doesn't matter. Okay, so for the non-CDL limit, right, it will be at $30,000 per year. The limit will be at $30,000 per year. Okay, so same thing, if you have the rider, right, there will be a co-payment of 5%. If treated by a panel or non-panel specialist, then it will be capped at $3,000. Okay, if not under a panel, there will be no cap. Okay, and if it's a non-CDL, no co-payment limit as well. Okay, so to understand how the claim illustration, assuming this particular medicine has been used to treat lung cancer. So if the limit is $2,000 per month under the CDL list, so the limit for the shield will be $10,000, which is 5 times of the MediShield Life limit, which means that the total claim limit will be $10,000 per month. Okay, same thing for outpatient cancer drug services limit per year, it will be $1,200. For the shield, if you have a shield, then it will be 5 times of the MediShield Life limit. Okay, so total there will be $6,000 per year, right? So not applicable for non-cancer drug list. Okay, so assuming, let's say, the non-cancer drug treatment medication has been used, like I said, it has to be under the class A to E of the non-CDL classification framework. In this case, this drug is from class A, okay, to treat this particular lung cancer. So not applicable for this component since it's talking about CDL. So we look at the services. Services will be 1,200 standard per year. 5 times of 1,200 will be $6,000 per year. So total claim limit will be $6,000 per year. So for under the outpatient cancer drug limit for non-CDL limit, it will be $30,000 per year. Okay, so total claim limit will be also $30,000 per year. This is an illustration of company I. So for company I, I'll be running through various categories. So assuming there's the plan that covers private insurance company and its rider, the plan that covers government hospital up to A1 ward and below, and government for government hospital and its rider, and B1 ward and below government hospital and its rider. So for the cancer drug treatment limit, so assuming it is 5 times of the, it will be 5 times of the Medishield life limit if you just have the private insurance shield. Okay, if you also have the rider, there will be additional 10 times of the Medishield life limit. Okay, so if you have the private plan with the shield, it will be 15 times. Okay, if you only have the government hospital plan, it will be 4 times of the Medishield life limit. And if you have the rider, there will be an additional 8 times of the Medishield life limit. So it will be 12 times. So if you only have got the Medishield, you only have the plan that is the B1 ward and below, it will be 3 times of the Medishield life limit. And if you have its rider, it will be additional 6 times of the Medishield life limit. Okay, so total 9 times. Okay, so that is under, if it's under the cancer drug list. For services, it will be standard at 5 times, 4 times, or 3 times, depending on the type of plan that you have. Even if you have the rider, it doesn't apply, it will still be these particular limits as such. Okay, so for non-cancer limit, right, it will be $15,000 if you have the rider for the private plan, and $7,000 per month if you have the rider for the government hospital up to A1 ward. And of course, lastly, will be $6,000 if you have the government hospital plan with B1 ward and below. Okay, so regarding the co-insurance, similarly, if you have the rider and you visited a panel or extended panel specialist, then the co-payment will be 5% and the co-payment limit will be $3,000. However, if you visit a non-panel specialist, there will be no cap of $3,000. Okay, so for non-CDL, it's 10% of the benefits and there's no co-payment limit. Okay. So I'll give you a claim illustration. So assuming if the medication to treat this lung cancer, right, this medication to treat lung cancer, right, if let's say the person, example, you have got the shield and its rider, so for 5 times of the shield limit of the Medishield life limit will be 10,000. So if you have the rider, it will be additional 10 times of the Medishield life limit, which means an additional 20,000 per month. So total claimable up to $30,000 per month. So same thing, services, 1,200 per year. If you have the shield, it will be 5 times of the Medishield life limit. The rider doesn't apply. Total just $6,000 per year for the cancer drug services limit. Okay, not applicable for non-CDL since we are talking about a medicine that's under CDL. So if let's say the medication is in this case a non-CDL treatment, okay, for non-CDL treatment under the class A illustration, so over here services standard 1,200 per year, 5 times our Medishield life limit if you have the shield will be $6,000 a year. Okay, total $6,000 per year for the total claim. And if you have the rider, it will be 15,000 per month limit. Total will be 15,000 per month claim limit. If you only have got the shield, right, there won't be any not be claimable. So I just want to ask you this very important question. So assuming touch wood, let's say you're diagnosed with cancer and a doctor present to you a solution to say that because of the condition that you have, right, there's actually 2 drugs that's available. One of the drug is not cost effective, therefore it is not on the CDL and it will not be claimable. However, the effectiveness of it is 80% and it has lesser side effects. Another medicine is more cost effective, therefore it is under the cancer drug list and is claimable up to its limits. However, the effectiveness is only 40% and there will be more side effects. So the question to you is, if you are in this scenario and the doctor present to you these options, what would be the option that you will take? So I'll just run through with you the stats since research has been done in 2016 to 2020 that 1 in 4 persons may develop cancer in Singapore. So the top 10 cancer that is being diagnosed in Singapore for male and female are as such. For male, the number 1 diagnosis will be colon rectum cancer. Number 2 will be lung cancer. And number 3, prostate cancer. For female, the number 1 diagnosis is breast cancer. Number 2 is colon rectum cancer. And number 3, lung cancer. So you can see the list of the top 10 cancer diagnosed in Singapore over here. So which brings me to the cancer treatment in Singapore, its side effects and its cost. So I come across this particular website called Homage, which I find a very good research on the various cancer treatment and its relevant costs. So you touch on the various different stages of cancer upon diagnosis by doctor. So for example, for most cancers, they are categorized into 5 stages. So stage 0, that means the cancer has not yet become invasive. So they call it carcinoma in situ. So this is patients at this stage usually have a good prognosis and can be cured with just surgery alone. So stage 1 is then when the small tumor actually start growing only at a single area. So at stage 2, usually a bigger tumor at a single area, sometimes with involvement of nearby lymph nodes. Then stage 3 will be a much larger tumor with more extensive involvement of the adjacent tissue of the lymph nodes, not confined to a single area and has not spread to the other parts of the body. So stage 4, that is when the cancer has spread to the distant parts of the body. So over here, you can see there's like early critical illness, early cancer, and later part will be the advanced cancer. So typically, how is cancer being treated? So as you can commonly hear, it's by chemotherapy, surgery, by radiation, immunotherapy, stem cell transplant, hormone therapy, and also the photodynamic therapy. So all these kind of therapy will depend on which stage the cancer is. Right, so of course you can read through also this website. It actually shows very good information of what happens if a person is diagnosed with cancer. So there will be various side effects due to the cancer treatment. It will be pain, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, and problems with the mouth, hands, skin, nail problems, and many other issues. So this site also touched about the cost of cancer treatment. Right, so a biopsy can easily cost $1,000 in public hospital and close to $6,000 for private hospitals. Surgery can cost $2,000, close to $3,000 in a public hospital, and for private hospital can even cost up to 30 over 1,000. For chemotherapy, will be 1,500 per cycle. So the cost per year depends on how many cycles and how frequent the chemotherapy is. Radiotherapy will be approximately 25,000 to 30,000. And immunotherapy will be $9,000 per dose, and it can even cost up to 156,000 to even 234,000. So why is this immunotherapy so expensive? If you to look through the above, you can see that immunotherapy actually helps your immune system fight cancer by aiding the immune system in better acting against the cancer. So it's a biological therapy, okay, which means it refers to treatment that uses substances made from living organisms to actually treat cancer. So this might be the cause of why it's so expensive. Okay, so so then what will be the financial resources for cancer treatment? I'll just show an illustration, assuming if an individual is diagnosed with cancer. So typically, he or she will still have ongoing living expenses to pay. So if a person is a family man, right, there will still be household expenses that he have to pay. Right, the living expenses, we just assume it at 3,000, including household expenses, including personal expenses, day-to-day food and beverages and all that. So assuming it's just $3,000 a month. So when a person is diagnosed with cancer, right, there's going to be ongoing medical expenses. So we just say that it's 1,500 per month. Okay, it can be maybe medication that is not on the cancer drug list, or it can be alternative treatment. So for example, TCM that is known to really help in aiding the body recover after the very strong medication for chemo or radiotherapy and all that. And probably even a change in lifestyle. So for example, eating organic food, which usually costs much more. So these are the ongoing medical expenses or additional expenses, say, assuming say 1,500. So typically cancer will last within a period of 5 years. If the cancer were to be very strong, and in 5 years, the person probably will be no longer around. But if it can be cured, 5 years, the patient can actually go back to work. Right? So because of the loss of income, because when a person is ill, he or she will not be able to work. Right? So when that happens, if let's say the total requirement amount is 280,905, so where is the money going to come from? Right? So if let's say the most this amount is if needed, okay, so few ways it's going to come from. So first will be from MediSave, or covered also by MediShield Life, right? That's going to cover, and the private integrated shield plans, critical illness plans, and lastly cancer plans. So also do note, right, that if all these resources are not in place, then a person probably will have to deplete his or her own savings. Okay, so the savings that can actually be used as your retirement funds will then be used to provide for this period when cancer is being diagnosed, right? So if most clients, right, they probably already have those that I've mentioned, private shield plans, probably critical illness plans, and the question will be whether your critical illness plan is sufficient, right? So with the latest changes, right, and nowadays the cancer plan has become more and more popular, especially with this cancer drug list announcement being out. So what is this cancer plan like? So how this kind of plans pay out is that in the event if early stage or intermediate stage or advanced stage cancer were to occur, the insurance company will then pay a lump sum payout. Right. So typically how this kind of plans works, right, it's yearly renewable up to 99, and there's going to be usually simplified underwriting and much lower premiums compared to typical critical illness plans. So to know how affordable cancer plans are, I will show you an illustration. So assuming a male non-smoker at the age of 35 were to take up the plan, so for a 50,000 coverage, the premium is just $114 a year. So for 100,000, it will be 182. For 200,000, it will be $302. So for a person who is 40 years old, the premium will be as such. So as you can see, the premium are pretty affordable. So do note, however, that the plan is yearly renewable and the premium increases every year. For a female non-smoker for age 35, for a 50,000 coverage, the premium will be 206. For 100,000, 378. And for 200,000, will be 624. So for age 40, with this coverage, the premium will be as such. Okay, so same thing. The plan is yearly guaranteed renewable and premium increases every year. I'd like to thank you for listening to this. So just to share this quote that I think is very useful, that is, life is always better with options. Provide yourself the options before it is too late. Once again, I'd like to thank all of you for your kind attention, and do help to share and like the video if you have found this useful. Thank you.